You're spending hours staring at textbooks. Your to-do list is a monster that never seems to shrink. And yet, your grades are completely stuck. You're trying to study harder, but it feels like you're not studying any smarter. You're drowning in highlighters and flashcards, convinced that just one more all-nighter is the key to an A+. But the burnout is real, and the results are not great. Now, what if I told you that an A-list celebrity, while filming blockbuster movies and dealing with global fame, was also getting a world-class education? Emma Watson didn't have more hours in the day than you do. She just had better systems. A lot of people guess how she did it. But today, we're not guessing. We're going to break down the documented, evidence-based strategies and principles she actually used to study smarter, not harder, so you can finally get the grades you want without sacrificing your sanity. Let's be real. This isn't about a magic wand. It's about a fundamental shift in how you approach your work. Emma Watson's journey through university wasn't a straight line. She started at Brown University, transferred to Oxford as a visiting student for a year, and ultimately graduated from Brown with a degree in English literature. It took her 5 years instead of the usual 4 because she took time off for her acting career. This path itself reveals the first secret. Her success wasn't about flawless, non-stop work. It was about strategic adaptation. She built a system that could bend without breaking under the immense pressure of a dual career. And today, we're reverse engineering that system into 4 powerful principles you can apply right now. This is how you really study like Emma Watson. Number 1, the foundation, strategic education design. So you want to be that perfect student, the one who gets straight A's without even trying. You've probably been told to just be more organized, use a specific technique, or just try harder. But what if the problem isn't your effort, but your entire game plan? This is where most students get it wrong. They treat their education like a checklist of required courses they have to suffer through. Emma Watson did the exact opposite. Her first move was a masterclass in strategic thinking. She chose Brown University for a very specific reason: its open curriculum. This allowed her to design her own educational path, take control, and build a schedule that could coexist with her demanding film career. She said, "I've kind of been in charge of my own education since I started out on Potter when I was 10, and I liked that I could design my own major if I wanted to." This is the foundational principle. Stop being a passive passenger in your own education. You might not be able to choose your university's entire curriculum, but you have more control than you realize. Are you strategically picking electives to spark your curiosity or just to fill a credit? Are you scheduling your hardest classes in a semester where you know your other commitments are lighter? Emma's choice wasn't about finding the easiest path. It was about finding the smartest path for her unique situation. She treated her education like a CEO, making deliberate decisions to maximize her resources, her time, energy, and curiosity. Before you even think about flashcards, you need to ask yourself, is my academic plan built for burnout, or is it designed for success? Start looking at your degree plan not as a sentence, but as a puzzle you get to solve. That shift in mindset is the first real step to studying smarter. #2, the deep work doctrine, rejecting fragmented studying. The second principle rebels against one of the most common pieces of productivity advice. Just study for 30 minutes a day. You probably know you need to be organized, test yourself, and make engaging notes. But for so many of us, nothing ever sticks. That fragmented approach often means you just get into a flow state, and then time's up. Emma Watson's method shows a rejection of this. In an interview, she discussed how the mechanical 30-40 minutes a day doesn't work for her. Instead, she embraces deep, immersive time. She describes herself as someone who needs to read for 3 or 4 hours, if not more, carving out entire weekends just to absorb a subject she loves. This is the deep work doctrine. It's about quality over frequency. Think about it. When you study in short, interrupted bursts, how much time do you waste just trying to remember where you left off? How much mental energy is lost just switching contexts? Those short sessions might look good on a to-do list, but they rarely lead to true understanding. The Watson method is to bundle your study time into focused, uninterrupted blocks. Maybe it's not a whole weekend for you. Maybe it's 1 3-hour phone in another room, distraction-free session every Tuesday night. The goal is to give your brain the space it needs to move beyond surface-level memorization and into deep, lasting comprehension. This is how you stop skimming the surface of your subjects and start actually mastering them. Stop snacking on knowledge. Schedule a feast. 3, the motivation engine, Study for yourself, not the grade. What's the one thing that will burn you out faster than anything else? Studying subjects you hate just to get a grade you think you need. It turns learning into a soul-crushing chore. You end up motivated by fear of failure, fear of a bad GPA, and fear is a terrible long-term fuel. Emma Watson's academic choices reveal a much more powerful motivator: genuine curiosity. She chose to major in English literature not for a specific job, but because she was passionate about it. She famously said, "I'm just addicted to knowledge. It just makes me happy. It keeps me motivated." She went to university not just for the diploma, but to be in an environment where she could share ideas with people who were also passionate about learning. This is the principle of the motivation engine. You have to find the why behind your what. When you study something you're genuinely curious about, the work doesn't feel like work. The hours in the library become an adventure, not a sentence. The drive comes from within, not from the pressure of an exam. Grades become a welcome byproduct of your learning, not the sole stressful objective. This doesn't mean you have to be in love with every required course, but it does mean you need to find an angle, a connection, or a question within that subject that sparks your interest. Number 4, the humility hack, the power of learning in public. What's the single biggest barrier to learning in a classroom? The fear of looking stupid. We've all been there. You have a question, but you don't ask because you assume everyone else gets it. You hide your confusion, struggle in silence, and a small gap in your knowledge widens into a giant chasm. Emma Watson, having grown up in the public eye, had to master this fear. She built her career and education while making mistakes on a global stage. This experience taught her a profound lesson: the importance of admitting what you don't know. This is the humility hack. It's the radical idea that admitting you don't know something is the fastest way to learn it. Her mindset is captured perfectly in a quote where she says, "The sad thing is you only learn from experience. So as much as someone can tell you things, you have to go out there and make your own mistakes in order to learn." This transforms mistakes from something to be ashamed of into the very things that make you stronger. You need to adopt this fearlessness. Ask the dumb question in class. Go to your professor's office hours and say, "I am completely lost on this. Can you explain it from the beginning?" Find a study group where you feel safe enough to say, "I don't get it." Hiding your weaknesses doesn't make you strong. It makes you fragile. The strongest students aren't the ones who know everything. They're the ones who are quickest to identify what they don't know and fix it. So let go of the fear. Embrace your gaps. Make your mistakes in public, because that is where the real learning begins. If you found these strategies helpful, subscribe for more videos on how to study smarter. And like this video to let me know you want more deep dives like this one. This is Peak Razor. Let's build productivity systems that win daily.